Hey guys, Matt Jones at Myeongnyang. I'm on the northern tip of Jindo Island, Jin Island, which looks onto the southern tip of Korean mainland, the southeastern corner of Korean mainland. And here we've got a body of water which is most remarkable. It's only about 250 metres wide, as you can see, and it's the site of one of the most remarkable naval victories in history, and potentially one of the most remarkable naval defeats in history as well. In 1597, a guy called Admiral Shin, whose statue sits just up there, brought all of his 13 ships into this area and had them basically attract the Japanese 133 ships or so that were out down that way to the east to basically come in and attack Shin. But what the Japanese had miscalculated is that these waters have an exceptionally high tidal change. They're the fastest moving tidal waters in all of Korea, and they at their fastest they move faster than a Japanese ship of that time could actually sail, even over short distances. And so the Japanese had 133 ships or so. Behind them, another 330 Japanese ships in their fleet. So a virtual armada versus 13 ships in what was the remnant of a defeated Korean navy of a country that was almost brought to its knees. Shin had been brought out of prison only for the fact to fight because they were so desperate for anything to stay afloat, pardon the pun, against the Japanese. And so the fight commenced with Shin joining with the enemy in this area here before the tidal surge started to change like this. So the Japanese were sort of brought into the water by the currents flowing back out to the sea, and then what happened was as the fight got joined, apparently this area here was just full of boats and bodies and blood and broken things, just smoke and fire. It was just absolute chaos. This whole area would have been full of just a mess of boats up against each other. Accounts are that some of the Japanese vessels looked like they were swarming with black ants. There were so many Japanese trying to board the Japanese vessels, the Korean vessels. And then what happened was, like what we're seeing here, the tide changed, taking the Japanese out to sea. So Shin had timed the battle perfectly so that at the point where the Japanese needed to press home the attack, they were actually lost control and swept out to sea. The Korean vessels, back inland, the Korean vessels, which have a far superior cannon, were able to fire at the Japanese vessels. Just an incredible turning of fortune for both Korea and Japan at that time. And it's been a remarkable journey to get here too. I ended up traversing from Yosu to Jeju Island, then came around just on the other side of that opening there last night. So I could see this bridge at night, and it's great to be here now and see it in the course of the day. It's been a great experience to come here. It's really put the works, the life and legacy of Shin into context. Certainly always helps to see the ground, and it's most impressive. Even since I've been here for about half an hour now. I got invited to a picnic with some people over there. When I first arrived, it was gurgling. It was like there was a surf in the middle of this water where the bridge is. And now it's relatively calm. Before you could really distinctly see the water seemed to be travelling in two directions, and now it just looks like a fast-moving river. But even so, looking down in the water, you can see that it's a very unusual blue colour. It's got a very milky colour. Same up the river, up the area too. Actually, I think just up around there, I had another look, and the same sort of colour in the water. a great encounter I've had today. 감사합니다. 반갑습니다.
고맙습니다.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I have to say that the hospitality of the people around here knows no bounds. It's certainly wherever I go. Since I've been down at the Myeongnyang Strait here, I've just met nothing but hospitality. And across on the other side of the bridge is where I was invited to sit down and have a picnic with some beers, and just came across this bridge on the other side. You can hear the music, a little performance there, very welcoming. And now these delightful people here with their beautiful young baby, they're just sitting down enjoying the fresh air of a nice afternoon by this river, which is almost unbelievable that it was the site of a massive naval victory, because it's such an unlikely place to have been like that. But such was the ability of Eastern Shin to choose the ground. But they've offered me some great corn, so I'm taking a quick stop, eat the corn, off running again. The myth of Eastern Shin is almost as interesting as the man himself. And I think half the challenge in working out who Eastern Shin was and what his legacy actually is what's truth or what's fact, and what's reality or what's myth. This is an impressive bas-relief sculpture. It looks very similar to the sculpture at Okpo, also commemorating a victory from Eastern Shin. I mean, that's great. It's probably the same artist, which is fantastic. There's a like sense of consistency in how that story is projected. It overlooks the Myeongnyang Strait here. But there's a statue down there a few meters that has Eastern Shin basically being he's in the process of being almost deified in the adoration of his commanders around him. And I guess that's not too hard to understand from the Confucianist spirit, but it also does. I mean, I guess you got to put it in the context. He was a pretty ruthless guy. I find it more interesting that with all this adoration of Eastern Shin, very little is talked about why he was imprisoned, like physically imprisoned 3 times. Once from 1593 until 1597. He was only released to help Korea defeat the Japanese when all else failed. So remarkable. Was it his personality, or was it the sense of rivalry that other people who perhaps were knowingly not as good as him felt, and so they sought to shut him down? I'm not quite sure what the story is, but I certainly want to find out. But I think it's a good place to start.